All right, 6:30, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Ronnie Bush. Samuel Newton. Here. Luann Hayes. Here. Casey Anthony. Present. William Hadley.
Here.
Jim Hart.
Yes, ma'am.
Kurt Copeland.
Here.
Adam Modero.
Here.
Larry Jogers.
Here.
Brooke Deininger. Scott Holmes.
Present.
Jackie DeMeester.
Here.
Nicole Baker.
Here.
Steve Frick.
Present.
Brian Brandt.
Present.
Tim Whalen.
Yes, ma'am.
14 present, 2 absent.
All right, just as a friendly reminder, if you would like to speak when you're recognized, please push your microphone so that the green light is on. Once you're done speaking, please press it again so that it turns off. With that, Mr. Whalen, would you lead us in prayer, and Mr. Copeland, the pledge?
Let's pray. Lord God Almighty, I thank you for the opportunity to come before you and serve the people of Stephenson County, Illinois. I thank you that we have this opportunity, Lord, on a regular basis. And I just pray that you help us make good decisions tonight, that you help us be amicable toward each other, and to work together to achieve things for the folks of this county. And I just pray you bless this time together. In Jesus' name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there an approval for the agenda? By Mr. Newton, is there a second? By Mr. Jogers. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is a consent agenda. Are there any items that any board member would like to have removed? Mr. Hadley?
Yes, I would like to have C removed, please.
Letter C. Anyone else? Okay, is there a motion to approve A, B, D, and E? By Mr. Hart, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Modero. Any discussion on A, B, D, or E? Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Jim Hart.
Yes.
Kurt Copeland.
Yes.
Adam Modero.
Aye.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester.
No.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Steve Frick.
Yes.
Brian Brandt.
Aye.
Tim Whalen.
Yes, ma'am.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Luann Hayes.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
13A, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve letter C? By Mr. Brandt, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Hart. Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Yes, could we have the engineer up, please?
Yes, sir. Mr.
Thank
Rasmussen, would
you.
you please come up to the podium?
Evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks, Dale, for coming up. I see this group is out of Indiana, Indianapolis. Is there they have a local office here, or why are we using somebody way from over in Indiana?
We've used them for all of our sampling reports since I've been here.
Oh, we've used this, okay then.
Yep.
And was the service agreement reviewed by our state's attorney?
I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No.
All service agreements are always supposed to be reviewed by our state's attorney, so,
It's the same one we've used for several years now.
Okay.
Whether we reviewed the first one or not, I'm not sure.
okay, then hopefully maybe the state's attorney can take a quick look at it before it gets signed, you know, and stuff like that.
All right, we'll send it to them.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Dale. No other discussion. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Brian Brandt. Tim Whalen.
Aye.
Samuel Newton. Luann Hayes.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
Jim Hart.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Adam Modero.
Aye.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester. Nicole Baker. Steve Frick.
Yes.
14A, motion carries.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak for public comment? If you'd please come to the podium, state your name, and you will have 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Helms. I normally face this group as the treasurer of Stephenson County. Tonight I'm here as the treasurer of the Freeport Area Church Cooperative Board, better known as FACC. I've been fortunate enough to work with this group for the better part of 23 years. Hunger and homelessness are both challenges in the Freeport area in numbers greater than most realize. The nonprofit Freeport Area Church Cooperative is run by a network of local delegate churches committed to providing emergency food, clothing, and shelter to those in need. The shelter operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for men, women, and families. FACC also works to secure permanent housing, provide case management, and as well as provide nightly meals by all volunteer churches. Everyone here is practicing the corporal works of mercy, feeding the hungry, sheltering the homeless. I'm here today because November 17th through the 23rd is Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. I'm here for the awareness part. It's a national endeavor by the National Coalition for the Homeless, promoting education, action, and awareness about hunger and homelessness. FACC is sponsoring its annual Hunger Luncheon on Friday, November 22nd at St. Thomas Aquinas Church. Tickets and tables are available. Please join our efforts. Support is welcome in person and from afar. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the zoning report. Director Henning, if you would please come up. Thank you.
Good evening. The Zoning Board of Appeals hearing was held Thursday, November 7th. Full quorum was present. James and Brittany Alexander are requesting a special use to allow for a single-family dwelling in the Ag District. Testimony was given, no objectors were present, and with a voice vote of 4-0, the ZBA recommends approval by this board.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Copeland, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Hart, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other information?
No, sir.
All right, thank you for coming up. With that, we'll move to the chairman's report. It'll be very brief in light of the budget being presented tonight. I would just ask that all board members be aware that the next meeting is on a Wednesday, November 27th. Critically important, obviously, that everyone make an attempt to be here for that meeting, as we will take final action on the 2025 spending plan. With that, we'll move on to appointments. The first is an approval of the appointment of Andrea Schultz-Winter to the Blackhawk Hills Regional Council. Can I get a motion to approve? By Mr. Frick, is there a second? By Mr. Newton, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to action items and information from standing committees. Mr. Whalen, you have 3 action items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, we have approval of sale of surplus properties. We have 2 under consideration, and the total amount of $2,105. And that was all fully reviewed by the Finance Committee and approved thereof. And I would make a motion to approve those as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Hart, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Your next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to approve, I would make a motion to approve the ordinance providing for a property tax levy of the County of Stephenson for the fiscal period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. And I'll read briefly from that ordinance. Be it resolved by the County Board in and for the County of Stephenson and the State of Illinois, there be and there is hereby levied the sum of $5,000,000 $734,533 to cover and pay expenditures for the fiscal year beginning January 21st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025. And the county clerk be, and she is hereby directed and authorized to extend the rate of taxation that will produce the amounts mentioned or provided for in accordance with law. Said amount to be divided for the objects and purposes as set for the detail of the general corporate fund budget. Now, the amounts, specifically, the nursing center fund at $500,000, the highway department fund $630,000, county matching fund $310,000, county bridge fund $310,000, veterans assistant commission fund $200,000. Let's see, county health department fund $40,722. The liability insurance fund $840,000. Social Security contributions fund $509,059. The Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund $870,751. The Extension Education Fund $190,000. Community Mental Health Fund $416,000. Tuberculosis Fund $58,665. And again, these funds were all reviewed and approved by and this resolution was approved by the Finance Committee on a unanimous vote. So I would so move that we approve it as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second? By Mr. Copleen. Discussion. Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Maybe Adrian can answer it, or is she available on this?
Director DeWall, would you mind coming out to the podium? Thank you.
If my calculation's right, IMRF, you removed 426,000 from last year.
That's correct.
Could you tell us why that big of amount on IMRF, why we're removing so much out of there?
Sure. So we decided to shift the tax levy a little bit because of the deficit in the general fund. So 400,000 of those dollars are going into the general fund. So that levy has been increased. And then the 708 board requested an additional $26,000 for various agencies that they fund in the county. So the extra $26,000 is going to mental health.
Are we cutting IRMF pretty short, or how'd you come to cut that much out of the IMRF?
The IMRF rate, the contribution rate that the county has to provide has dropped significantly over the past couple of years. The fund is very healthy. I consulted with the treasurer and we agreed that this cut for this year would be fine.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have on that.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Tim Whalen?
Yes.
Samuel Newton?
Yes.
Luann Hayes?
Yes.
Casey Anthony?
No.
William Hadley?
Yes.
Jim Hart?
No.
Kurt Copleen?
Yes.
Adam Modero?
Aye.
Larry Jogers?
Aye.
Scott Helms?
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester?
Aye.
Nicole Baker?
Aye.
Steve Frick?
Yes.
Brian Brandt?
Aye.
12A, 2 nay, motion carries.
Mr. Whalen, your final action item?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have come up with a budget plan on the revenue side, a total of $58,704,448. On the expense side, $56,003,556. We have a surplus of about $2.7 million which leads us to a overall surplus in the budget of about 5 months of operating capital. The SICH, our auditor, recommends about 6 months, so we're right on that edge. But the committee felt comfortable in the position we're in to move forward at that rate. So I am recommending that we approve to receive and lay over the 2025 budget for public inspection until November 27th, 2024, as presented by the Finance Committee.
Is that your motion?
That
Mr.
is my
Whalen?
motion.
Is there a second? By Mr. Jogurst, discussion. Okay, again, this is merely to receive and lay over. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Tim Whalen,
Yes.
Samuel Newton. Luann Hayes. Casey Anthony. William Hadley.
Yes.
Jim Hart.
Yes.
Kurt Copeland.
Yes.
Adam Mottero.
Aye.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester. Nicole Baker. Steve Frick.
Yes.
Brian Brandt. 14A, 0 nay, motion carries.
All right, anything else out of your committee, Mr. Whalen?
I would just encourage all the county board members and members of the public to peruse through that budget. It is going to be there for public consumption, and if anybody has any questions, certainly feel free to ping me or the county treasurer or county finance director. Thank you very much.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Copeland, you don't have any action items, any information out of your committee?
Yes, Sheriff Stovall advised the committee that all the license plate readers are installed and operational in the county. That's all I have.
All right, very good, thank you. We'll move on to administration. Mr. Jogerst, 5 action items.
Yes. They are all interconnected here, so number 9 in your packet was the approval of the polling place accessibility grant for 2025. This is $138,752 from the state of Illinois, which will be used to improve polling places in the county for paving of parking lots, sidewalks, driveways, etc. So with that, items 10 through 13 are what this $138,752, and then there's another $12,000 for a county building as well. So I would make a motion to approve all 4 of them, or all 4 of these, 5 of these items. Erin Township is split out as $57,900. Wadhams Township, $11,015. Village of Winslow is $33,901. Rock City Fire Department is $23,044. And because we kind of laid this over and had Rock City requote what they were doing, we were able to save the state of Illinois state taxpayers $8,100 by holding this over. So make a motion for all 5 to approve.
Very good, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Mottero. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester. Nicole Baker. Steve Frick.
Yes.
Brian Brandt. Tim Whalen.
Yes.
Samuel Newton. Luann Hayes. Casey Anthony. William Hadley.
Yes.
Jim Hart.
Yes.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Adam Mottero.
Aye.
13A, 1 nay, motion carries.
Any other information out of your committee?
No, those items were the main things we talked about this month, so that's it. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to court services. Ms. Anthony, it appears we have a single action item.
So we have the approval of the 2025.
Ms. Anthony, I'm sorry, could you move your microphone? Thank you.
So we have the approval of the 2025 Illinois Court Technology Modernization Program Grant, which is something that we have, that the circuit clerk has gone after several years, which has led to a lot of the modernization that's occurred in the courthouse over the last several years. So she's just asking for this once again.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. By Mr. Hart, is there a second? By Ms. Hayes. Ms. Anthony, do you have the dollar amount of that grant?
I apologize, I do not. I know they were still working on getting information and quotes.
Go ahead, Administrator Newcomer.
I believe the way the committee passed it was in the amount of the quotes once received, since the deadline would be before the next board meeting.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Jim Hart.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland. Adam Modero.
Aye.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester. Nicole Baker. Steve Frick. Brian Brandt. Tim Whalen.
Aye.
Samuel Newton. Luann Hayes. Casey Anthony.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
13A, 1 nay, motion carries.
All right. Any other information out of court services, Ms. Anthony?
No.
Okay. We'll move on to Nursing Center, Mrs. Baker.
Yep, first off, I'd like to ask Marcos to come to the stand, if you don't mind, to answer.
Director Perez, if you wouldn't mind coming forward, please.
And then our first action item is approval of bad debt write-off for Q3 2024 in the amount of $37,689.31. With that, I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Hadley. Is there any discussion? Mr. Whalen.
Mr. Chairman, I'm actually disappointed at this amount. I think it should be a much greater amount. We still have over $200,000 plus that are left on the AR report from 2023, and we're going to be pressing hard to try and wrap that up, I think, next month. Just, again, I think it should be a greater amount than $37,000 at this point, but I will vote for this because I think it's needed.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. One no, motion carries. Mrs. Baker, if you'd go on with your second
Yep,
item,
next up
please.
is approval of payment of civil money penalty case number 2023-05 LTC 434 to Centers of Medicaid and Medicare Services in the amount of $20,000. This was not an action item at the committee, but was discussed, and that's why Marcos is passing out. He will take the floor.
I'm sorry, did you make a motion to approve?
Yes, and then Marcos, if you get a second, he'll
Is there a
discuss it.
second? By Mr. Hart. Mr. Brandt, did you want to ask your question now or wait for Marcos to present? Okay, you bet. Director Perez, whenever you're ready. Thank you.
I wanted to speak to the civil monetary penalty that was assigned, in this case, by the facility to be paid. So when I came on board in July of this year to serve as the interim administrator for the facility, this particular issue or this particular need was not made aware to me simply because this is something that took place in 2022. The first document that you have there listed back in January 31st of 2022 references a complaint survey that took place at that time that resulted in a concern related to infection control, which the Illinois Department of Public Health, as well as the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, you'll see letters there from CMS, referenced this particular concern, and as a result of what was found, a civil monetary penalty of $20,000 was assigned to the facility as of that time. And again, this was January 31st of 2022. Leading to later that year in June of 2022, the actual specific amount being confirmed, communicated to the facility to be paid at that time. And from all accounts and all of my research at this point, there's no indication that the administrator that was on duty at that time had communicated to the committee that they reported to or to the county board, such that without that information, no one could really act upon this. And the last correspondence that was received, which I gave you all a copy of, referenced January of 2023, which was now last year in this case. And again, the administrator of the facility obviously did not follow up on it at that time. I became aware of it myself as of this past week, and now I'm acting on it by this late stage, expected by CMS to have that paid by the 14th, in this case, of this month. And so I had reported this to the county administration within this last week, which led to reporting it to the Nursing Center Committee this past Thursday, which now led it to a meeting tonight, in this case, for the full board to meet on and to approve to be paid per CMS in this case.
Any questions for Director Perez? Mr. Whalen, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at the dates on here on these three communications, and I see the original one, January 31st, 2022, which from what I hear you saying was not acted upon, but then the next two were from June 14th, 2022 and January 13th, 2023. Is that accurate? Am I reading that right?
That's what I have.
Okay. Now, at that point, I believe TCM had taken over ownership of running the facility out there. Why wasn't this acted upon previously? Have you talked that out with them at all?
So the administrator, just like I do at this point, was and more than likely, and it still is, the only person who has access to the electronic system that receives these communications from CMS, such that even, as I said, at this point, I've been made aware of it to be able to act on it now. If that administrator did not share that with the management company, they would not have been aware of it either, because when this incident first took place in January 2022, the management company had not come on board yet. And so if it wasn't communicated originally to begin with, let alone passed on to anybody else, the management company wouldn't have been would not have been would not have been made aware of it either to be able to act upon it or to follow up on it either. So.
Any other questions? Mr. Hart, sorry.
I'm just curious, did you have a discussion with the management?
I did.
Okay.
And the chief clinical officer with the management company, I did discuss it specifically with her because she is the kind of the regulatory expert dealing with public health, dealing with the American Healthcare Association on the federal level, which lobbies for skilled nursing facilities nationwide. Putting aside the fact that the federal government, since COVID, has been kind of slow in their response time and just processing of these type of things to begin with, that's part of it. But in this case, like I said, specifically from what I've been able to verify, the facility administration at the time, just it would seem, there's no evidence on my part that I can find that they acted upon this to be able to get this paid. So I'm kind of picking up the pieces now at this point.
Sure.
So,
Gotcha. Thank you.
Ms. Anthony?
Can you clarify? I think I know the answer to this, but it's a portal where this information is sent. It's not sent via mail anymore, correct? It's just in
that
a
is correct.
portal.
So there's an online system which facilities have access to called the Electronic Plan of Corrections site or system. It's a site that skilled nursing facilities have access to be able to access things like this, communication from the state and federal government. In fact, that first attachment that I gave you that looks like a letter from Department of Public Health, that's every single survey that any facility would ever have. That's how those look. This basically detailing the nature of the survey, what their findings were, if we were in compliance or non-compliance, and then anything else recommended, at the time as a result of the survey. So, at this point, and I've done this in my past experience too, just to give more flexibility, I could even grant access to that site to, say, like the chief clinical officer that I had made reference to earlier, so that when stuff comes in, not only do I see it, she could see it as well. So just there's more eyes on it. So that way this type of thing hopefully doesn't occur again.
Mr. Brandt?
Thank you. Can you put in kind of layman's terms what went wrong and what controls, procedures you put in place if you had to do it yourself to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Sure. So as it relates to the concern that existed at that time as far as what how the state cited the violation that they said that they found. That had to do with infection control protocols. So, and actually coincidentally, the administrator at the time, as the state had written the report for their visit in that time frame, was related to concerns with the administrator's actually understanding of infection control practices. So the facility has actually employed an infection control specialist as well by this point, even prior to my arrival, which monitors these types of concerns, our policies and procedures as they relate to anything like this. So as we get ready to go into our annual survey now, based on the audits that we do, the assessments that we carry out, at this point we have no reason to believe that these concerns still exist. Now, as it relates, as I said, to this not being processed or followed up on, as I mentioned to Ms. Anthony, my intention is to kind of spread out who receives these communications, so that when these do come in, they're not missed. And so these can be paid when they actually happen, rather than much after the fact. So more people will have eyes on this at this point. So.
And Mr. Brandt, my recollection at the time was that the administrator came out of the COVID unit with all of their, with the gown, the booties, everything, and walked directly into the lunchroom.
Right.
That was the issue. Mr. Jogerst.
Thank you, Chairman. At the time, was there any requirement for the administrator to make known these complaints to the nursing home board, the committee?
To make known, I'm sorry, what?
Make known this complaint to the nursing home committee?
Yes.
There,
so as
there
it
is
would be at this
requirement?
point, if there were, any survey that we have, I would communicate to my, to the committee that I report to, the committee chair, the county administrator, as far as any survey of any kind, whether we were cited or not, and any potential recommended, what the federal government calls remedies, which one of these would include a civil monetary penalty for what this was at the time.
Right.
So that way there'd be no question as to what could occur.
Okay.
So yes, there was an expectation for the administrator at the time to communicate this.
He didn't do that, correct? He did not do that, or did he?
Based on all information I have at this point, no. There's no evidence that
Okay.
this was communicated so that the county board could follow up on it.
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hart.
I was just going to make sure that we do something in the future to have a fail-safe so people know. If it is something like a fine or something legal, perhaps it should go with Mr. Larson as well, so he can get an eye on it. But it sounds like you're already working on it, so we can't go back, but we can go forward.
Yeah. And as I said, anything on this level, just speaking for myself, would always be communicated so that it can be followed up on. So.
Ms. Anthony.
Thank you. I have vague recollection that this was brought to us. So I'm not sure where the follow-through occurred, and I can't tell from the website because, I'm looking at the nursing home committee minutes, and all that's loaded is the agenda and not the minutes, but both in January and February of 2023. So when this letter was received, this last one, it does say discussion and approval of CMP penalty. So I'm not sure, I don't have time to sit here and look through all this while we're sitting here, but I remember us talking about it because I remember thinking that's how much the interim administrator cost us. So I'm not sure how it didn't get paid after that. So I think that might be something we should look at as a county board. Thank you.
Administrator Newcomer, did you want to speak to that, please?
I did do some research on that. That does not relate to this specific penalty. There was a discussion about the finding in the survey, and I believe the information that was relayed said we would be awaiting the civil money penalty to see if they were going to assess one. I think that's where the breakdown was, because we did have a conversation about what took place for the finding.
Anyone else?
I would also note, just for informational sake, that the civil monetary penalties have been paid by the facility in the past. So again, I can't speak to different timeframes, but this is something that has occurred before too. So,
Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Do we, if we pay this by a certain date, we get a percentage off, or do we have to?
That opportunity would have been given originally in that first year, but since this is long since past that time, that opportunity isn't there anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
And I believe that would have been in early of 2022, correct? First quarter. Mr. Modero?
I'm sure after being notified of this, finding this, you scoured the records, but what are the chances there's another one of these lurking out there in the mist?
I'm working with the management company to confirm that that isn't the case. If that were to be, then I would inform, as I did in this case, the county administration so that that could be followed up on as well. But this is what I'm aware of at this time, so I wanted to make sure we acted on this.
Anyone else? Well, one question I'm surprised nobody asked is where this money will come from and how can we afford to do it? So Marcos, would you mind discussing where we decided to take it from this morning?
So there was a discussion as far as which particular budget would be best to be able to draw these funds from. The facility does have a contingencies budget for even situations like this. There is more than enough funds at this point to be able to cover this particular CMP. And so that, at this point, was what was decided as far as where those funds would come from at this point. We do, just a note for the county board's informational sake as well, there are more deposits that are coming into the facility even today. So again, just keeping, Mr. Whalen, as we discussed previously, just keeping specific track of that to make sure that that's not a concern. Just we're going in the right direction as far as that goes. So.
And if I may, when you say plenty of money to pull it from, I think you're meaning in the general ledger itself, but not the cash on hand?
Correct.
Before the CMP, there is approximately $79,000 in the checking account. Just as a reminder, payroll alone is between $105,000 and $115,000 every 2 weeks. With the deposits coming in, I believe there will be just enough to cover the payroll on the 22nd, but not much else.
We did just deposit approximately $150,000 today.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions or discussion on this? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Steve Frick.
Yes.
Brian Brandt.
Aye.
Tim Whalen.
Yes, ma'am.
Samuel Newton. Luann Hayes. Casey Anthony. William Hadley.
Yes.
Jim Hart. Kurt Copeland. Adam Modero.
Aye.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Jackie DeMeester. 13A, 1 nay, motion carries.
All right. Thank you. Director Perez, anything else?
No, I don't think so at this time.
Great. Thank you for coming up. Any other information out of your committee, Mrs. Baker?
Nope, census is at 42, and thank you, Marcos, for doing all the research on that.
All right. Very good. We'll move on to planning and development. Mr. Frick, I believe you have 2 action items.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item we have is an ordinance amending the boundaries of the Joint Northwest Illinois Certified Enterprise Zone. This is to facilitate some operation that's going on at Pearl City Elevator near Rafters on Wagner Road. A move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? By Mrs. Hayes. Any discussion on this? Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Yes, how many square miles, after we approve this, how many square miles are we going to have left in the enterprise zone?
I'm going to ask the executive director of GFP to come
That's
forward.
what I was
Andrea
figuring.
Winter.
Should be pretty.
Thank you.
So this boundary amendment will add 8.57 acres to the total, which will be just over 13 and a half square miles. And just for everyone's reference, the enterprise zone can have a capacity up to 20 square miles. So there's abundant capacity even after this amendment within the zone.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. 1 no, motion carries. Thank you, Andrea. Mr. Frick, your final action?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, to go along with this is a resolution to authorize an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for the operation of said enterprise zone, and I would move to approve that amendment.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. By Mr. Newton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. 1 no, motion carries. Any information out of your committee, sir?
Just one final little comment on that, and that was 8.5 acres, 8.57, and we have the capability to have another 7 square miles, and 1 square mile is 640 acres. So kind of gives you an idea that we have quite a bit left. Thank you.
Great.
I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Frick. We'll move on to Public Works. Mr. Brandt, no action items. Any information out of your committee?
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, thank you very much. We'll move on then to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to come up and speak? Seeing none, there is no new business. Is there a motion to adjourn until Wednesday, November 27th? By Mrs. Hayes, is there a second? By Mr. Whalen, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.